Morning, family. It's Tasha, MAMABEAR prepping. You already know what time it is. Get your drink, pull up. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I hope it's productive. I hope that it's over for some of you and you're looking forward to your evening with your family, cooking dinner, all that good stuff. So today I wanted to talk about elites. I actually wanted to talk about this yesterday, but the beginning push of us starting our upgrade for our septic kind of started yesterday. It was a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff happening all at once, and I really needed to be all hands on deck, watching stuff, and helping just to organize and stuff, right? So super exciting for us, but super busy time. So let's get into the video that we're going to talk yesterday, and that's why I'm bringing it as a premiere today. So warnings. We've talked about this a few times about elites warning us of stuff, elites over the years talking, discussing things that are going to happen in the future. This has happened since way back in the day with people like Nostradamus, who was always doing predictions about different stuff. And a lot of that stuff that he predicted did come true. And there's a lot of stuff that he's predicted for this time period that's kind of eerily coming true. And so it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's very, I don't want to say cool, but it's fascinating when you hear of somebody who is more privy to more information, runs in higher circles, has more money, right? Is privy to some maybe information that you're not as a normal person in society, right? And they start running their mouth and saying things that are going to happen, predictions, their predictions, how they see things. Hey, get ready for this. We are going to have to deal with this. That can be scary. It can be exciting. It could be, pretty ominous, right? Especially if that stuff comes true. And so just take it with a grain of salt. But I do think that right now we have a lot of governments that are preparing, that have been preparing, right? Governments have prepared for forever, right? But I think we're in a new season of, hey, people see the writing on the wall. They see the things that are happening around the world, just like you and I do. And they are preparing. And folks that have money, they can do what we do, but on a much bigger scale. They're doing it, right? We look for a plot of land, right? Because we want to get out of the cities and stuff. Well, elites take that much further and buy, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of, acres of land, right? So they're just doing it on a much bigger scale because they have the money to do so. But they see the same writing on the wall. They see that water is going to be a problem, that food's going to be a problem, that these things are going to be a problem. Some of the stuff, though, that they've predicted is scary, right? And so I take it with a grain of salt, but I also listen, right? It's not that I just take everything that an elite says as, the Bible, as word, like, hey, they said it's going to happen, it's going to happen. That's not the case, right? I mean, you have folks like Elon Musk, you have folks like Bill Gates, who Bill Gates is really, really big on buying up land in certain states. I mean, that tells me that he thinks that certain states are not going to be safe. Certain states are not going to provide him with the things that he needs to survive. Okay. That on itself should give you pause or concern of why does this man that has so much money, why is he buying in certain states, right? Why is he fleeing from certain states? Why is he fleeing from the area that he grew up in and raised his businesses in, right? That should tell you something, right? He's concerned about food. If anything, he's concerned of having something to maybe for himself and his family, right? But it's beyond that too. It's about making money later in life when these issues come up and taking advantage, right? If you have all the land to then, grow food on, I mean, that's huge. That's going to be powerful later, okay? Those that control the food, control the people, control everything. And you have this elite who's buying up all this land, this fertile land, okay? He's also the one, though, that's advocates and is constantly warning of pandemics, right? That's concerning to me. He's warned several times about Marburg. He's warned several times about smallpox, that is coming back. not what we're dealing with now, but he has said multiple times and multiple places that smallpox is coming back. His companies are some of the companies that are charged with these vaccines, with this stuff. You know, he benefits from this. I'm not saying the man is going to do something, but I'm saying listen to the facts, listen to the things that these folks are telling us, and then you are taking it for what you want to take and glean from that, and then using that to prepare your own family. Okay. What are some other things? So they've told us about pox, Marburg's coming, of course, nuclear war, total collapse, something as simple as Bitcoin. Bitcoin was huge. You have these elites that are pulling out of the Bitcoin game now. You have warnings of CMEs, solar flares, financial crashes, world wars. As far as aliens, you know, Elon Musk is huge on the whole, you know, aliens are here. Aliens are going to get us one day. We're just basically too dumb to realize it. You know, of course, he has this whole space stuff. He wants to get off of the planet. He wants to populate and build up, you know, Mars or some other planet. I mean, that's his hopes and dreams. To me, Elon Musk is, he's a rare individual because he's an elite, right? Therefore, really, he cannot be trusted. But what's crazy about Elon is he has that crazy bug that we have. I'm just going to keep it 100, right? He has that tinfoil hat. He is known in the community to be the elite that has that crazy tinfoil hat on, right? He's constantly talking about aliens. He's constantly talking about you know, going to the moon, going to Mars, going wherever he can that's in space, and utilizing that money. And, you know, he's constantly talking about AI and how that's going to destroy us and all these things, right? And, but again, I listen to everything, and then I make an educated, you know, not guess, but an educated whether I'm going to believe them or not, right? What piece of what they're saying am I going to believe? There's a show I watched a while ago. It was on Vice, and it was called While the Rest of Us Die. I absolutely loved this show. It was a show, so it had several episodes, and it just talked about different preparedness, different emergency disasters that could happen, end of the world events, black swan events that happened, and basically what we, you know, what basically just the whole dialogue of all these things that could happen, right? And it talked very plainly in this about how the elites would go and hide in their bunkers and this and that, and they would leave the rest of us, and while the rest of us died, and the majority would die. But you have the chance right now to get your family as ready as possible. And folks, you know, some of this right here is too heavy for some people. They're like, you're talking about end of the world stuff. Listen, first of all, if you have God, if you are saved in the blood of Jesus Christ, you have nothing to worry about. That's first. Second of all, if you're a survivalist, if you're somebody who has that fight, that grit to survive and make sure that your family survives, you've got this. Between those two, you got this, okay? And if it's your time, right? If your Lord and Savior takes you, he takes you, okay? That's just the name of the game. This ain't your game anyway, right? He's in charge, not us. But what do? So you have to prepare your home for big events. An EMP, right, takes us back to horse and carriage. There's no cars, there's no power. What have you done and what can you do now to get your house grid ready? This is more than just losing power for a couple hours, right? This is long-term survival with no more power. People are going to lose it. If you do not think about your food stores now, your water stores now, your medicine, your different preparedness items, different ways to cook, how to basically live your life now, how you do now, to an extent, right? I mean, there's some stuff that's totally going to change, right? An EMP happens, you're not going to work. You know, the majority of folks have a job where you're not going back to work. You're done. It's the world is going to stop. There's very few jobs that will absolutely continue to move forward, because they are in the realm of preparedness, right? Your police officers, your EMTs, your nurses, your doctors, those folks that take care of people like that preparedness, that emergency circle, those folks are going to continue to work, but the rest of the world is going to stop in its tracks, right? And so what can you do now to prepare your home for total and, you know, game ending power grid failure at EMP, right? stockpiling the things, learning how to grow food, getting your preparedness items. How do you cook? How do you bathe yourself? How are you going to stay clean? How are you going to sanitation? When that stuff happens, so does all the utilities, right? There's no backup generators. You might even have some solar generators that you did not protect, and all that stuff is dead in the water. All your radios, all your, your solar generators, all of that stuff that you did not protect possibly is fried, okay? That stuff you might have tried to protect, and the stuff that you got didn't protect it, and it's still fried. So in your mind, how do you prepare yourself for that? How do you mentally prepare for the things that are going to happen and start happening around you? All the death that is going to be happening around you. That's heavy, okay? There's two things that I can promise you are going to happen, and that's death all around you, and that's violence all around you. Immediately, those things are going to start. And you have to know mentally, how are you going to handle that? Okay. How do you get your family ready for those two things to happen immediately, right? Death and violence. Immediately. Okay. And then how do you continue to run your household? But then how do you continue to run your household in a way where you are truly taking care of yourself and preparing, right? How are you preparing if that house burns down? Where's the rest of your preps? Where's your stuff? Do you still have stuff on site? What are you going to do? What happens if your, the house burns down? That's a huge one. The other one is, there's one other thing I was thinking about, I lost my train of thought because I can hear the workers showing up outside. We'll come back to that because I can't remember. I totally just dropped. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Man, they started showing up right there in the video, and it was like squirrel. I was like trying to talk to you, but they were like going crazy on the side of the house, showing up with all their machinery and stuff. Okay, so preparing your home, no power, all the utilities you lose, right? So sanitation, water, you name it, right? Depending on if you're on a septic or not, could depend on if certain things will still work. But there's a lot of things to think about. The other side of this is pandemics, the other big thing that really could kick off. This is where hubby feels. See, I'm the tinfoil hat wearer, right? I'm the one that thinks a little bit further, a little bit hardcore about the things that could happen. Hubby's more reserved, but he 100% thinks that major pandemics are coming. That is his thing. He's like, pandemics are coming, and that's what we need to prepare for and make sure that we are ready for. And so for me, it's definitely that, but it's the grid down, it's the no power aspect, it's the violence, it's the death, it's all the stuff that happens when stuff starts to collapse for a large piece of people, right? So when you're talking about the whole United States, several states, you're talking about the world, something that's affecting the world. That's crazy. Okay, that's beyond black swan when it affects the whole world, let alone the United States, right? So there's some different things, but pandemic, getting your preparedness items together for that, right? We joke that I'm doing this medical room. It's turning into a medical / the indoor garden, you guys, which I have started. So I will be bringing that to you soon, but it is important to think about these things and how you would address things as they happen for you and your family, right? What preps, what holistic stuff can you get to fight these things now, right? Instead of being reactive like we were for COVID, we were so reactive with that. Now, mind you, all the holistic people, all the people banded together that did not want to necessarily take the jab and stuff, you guys came together, and we as a country started passing out information. Hey, this would be good. This supplement, this vitamin, this, holistic treatments, right? That were helpful. Okay. But that was reactive. Nobody was like, oh, that's coming and prepared for that. That was reactive. People kicked it in gear and figured out what worked and what they needed to do to fight that particular pandemic. Well, the stuff. They've warned us about the stuff that's coming. So we need to get your stuff, get your preps. Watch my old videos. I've done several videos on pox and how to prepare for that, things to buy. I've done grocery lists. I've done all types of stuff. I'll try to link some of it in the description box below, you guys. I've expected that stuff to be taken down from day one, and it's still up. So get the information while you can and get those preps into your preparedness items, into your stockpiles, okay? And take this stuff serious. Take the stuff, when you see governments preparing, you hear these stories of governments and militaries collecting water, collecting food, collecting meds, MREs, that type of stuff. Do that. That should give you a warning, like, okay, they're doing this. There's a reason they're doing this, right? And you have resource wars that are going to start. They've already started a little bit. You know, Russia's in the middle of war. They're starting to cut off stuff, right? Yes, sanctions have been happening, but I think we're going to get into a little bit more hardcore stuff where you're going to see countries totally shutting off stuff. Like, we cannot send this out anymore because we have to be ready for ourselves, okay? You're going to see people being a little bit more greedy with the stuff that they produce in their countries, right? And what they're going to allow out, whether that's to, aid and build up another country, right? Or somebody they're supporting in the fight, whatever side of the fight that is. But you're going to start seeing that stuff, and it's just going to get worse for us over here on this side, the consumer, the basic average, person in society who's just living, who's just trying to make a living, work, take care of their family, build up something. But continue to do that, with the preparedness mindset, knowing that these things are coming. And I think that a lot of people think that elites, this is ridiculous. Who cares what elites say? But I think that there's stuff sprinkled in there that's diamonds. That's, they can't help but say what they know. Yeah. Do I think there's a whole lot of stuff they don't tell us? Absolutely. I think, is there some of them that know exactly what's going to happen? Detrimental, black swan, crazy stuff that's going to happen? Absolutely. Do you think the government would tell you if they knew that, a life-ending solar flare was going to hit, or a CME, or if they knew, without a doubt, the enemy was going to hit us with, several EMPs, or if they knew for a fact they got some kind of transmission that aliens were going to attack on a certain day? You think that they're telling us? No. If they think at all that is true and that is facts of the information they found out, they're going to do what they need to do to ensure that they get to their bunkers, that they get to their safe places. They do not have time to warn all these people, because you warn us, now we panic and the population panics, and then therefore they can't get to the places they need to get to because everybody is panicked, right? But if they don't say that stuff, they can calmly and collectively get to where they need to get to without that panic happening, okay? So just keep your eyes and ears open. Pay attention to what's going on around you, what's going on around in the world. Again, paying attention could give you a little bit of an edge of preparing and getting ahead of some certain situations that could happen that you may have some sort of warning about. But again, stuff might happen. We might wake up one day and the lights are out, and they're out for a long time, right? And imagine you have no idea what is happening around you, what's happening around your town, let alone outside your state, the United States. It's all people, just rumors. It's rumors, because if it shuts down like that, ain't nobody traveling that fast to spread word anyway of what's going on. There's no way you're going to know what's going on in Baltimore. There's no way you're even going to know what's going on in California or a state over. You're just not, unless somebody comes in days later that has traveled from that spot and can tell you, hey, I traveled from this location to here. We walked in and this is what's going on. That's it. You're going to be dead in the water, and it is going to be your personal compound, your home, what you have built, how you're surviving, what you have there to survive, what you're going to do when the death is happening around you and the violence is happening around you, because those two things, I can promise you, facts are going to happen. Okay. So watch that show, you guys. Amazing, on Vice, While the Rest of Us Die. It's worth it. I binged it all in like a couple days, right? It was awesome. So I will see you guys next time. Hopefully in the chat, you guys are going off on elites, different things that they have warned us about, different things that you're doing to prepare. Again, apologies that I wasn't here yesterday. Lots and lots of stuff going on. I am going to continue to try to bring you videos every single day. If there's a super heavy day, I might, onesie twosies, but I really am going to try to continue to bring you guys coverage every single day. Okay. And I will see you guys tomorrow on the Friday's premiere. All right. Take care. Bye.